we stand in solidarity with Ayana, Rumain's daughter. As the civil lawsuit says, Rumain exercised his constitutional right to keep walking without engaging in conversation with defendant Ryan. Ryan used force on him, charging after him and forcing him to retreat to the doorway of his residence of his 18-month-old daughter and her mother. The mother, whose name is Dana, heard the commotion. At this point, defendant Ryan initiated a confrontation with Rumain Brisbon by charging after him. While at the door, the mother opened the door and observed defendant Ryan and Rumain, who had a McDonald's bag in his right hand. Defendant Ryan was holding him by the shoulder and placing Rumain's left arm behind his back. Defendant Ryan then forced Rumain into the apartment residence, knocking over his 18-month-old daughter in the process. Once inside the apartment residence, defendant Ryan drew his weapon and ordered Rumain to the ground. While on the ground, Ryan pointed his weapon at Rumain, who was unarmed, non-threatening, and had his hands up as if he was scared or surrendering. Despite his submissive posture and the fact that Rumain was on the floor of the apartment residence, defendant Ryan shot him while he was in that submissive position. He was shot the first time and looked as if he was paralyzed. Rumain's body began shaking, and the mother of his 18-month-old daughter began screaming at defendant Ryan for having shot him in her home in front of her and their child for no reason. As Rumain Brisbon lay on the floor, seriously wounded, defendant Ryan stood over him and fired a second shot at him. In response, Rumain then moaned, "I'm dying." It was only then that Ryan stopped subjecting the unarmed Rumain Brisbon to deadly force. Afterwards, it was determined that Ryan had shot Rumain in the back at point-blank range, severing his spine, and shot him in the side, causing catastrophic injuries to several of Rumain's major organs. It was also confirmed at the time that he was shot to death. When he was shot to death, Mr. Brisbon had neither a weapon on his person, nor had reached for a weapon that was nearby, nor had he taken any action nor engaged in any conduct that would have justified the use of deadly force.
Our state itself leads the nation in police murders of civilians. In fact, you are 2.5 times more likely to be killed by a police officer in Arizona than you are a police officer in the state of New York. In addition to being the leader in police brutality deaths per capita in the country at 5 deaths per 1 million, we are also near the top of incarcerations per capita, with over 3,800 people per 100,000 behind bars in our state. Rumain's family, along with the community of local activists, Friends of Rumain, organizations such as the ACLU, Justice for Rumain, Wave of Action, Arizona Black Lives Matter, People Demanding Action, Puente Human Rights, Somos America, Maricopa Alliance for Shelter and Housing, and the local NAACP are working together to fight this epidemic and bring justice for Rumain. The pressure and actions taken by this community coalition along with Rumain's family has led to the firing of Police Chief Garcia in December, the veto of Senate Bill SB 1445 that would have made it illegal for the police to allow the names to be released in a 2-month period, and most recently in City Council yesterday it was approved with the direction of Dr. Whitaker, the director of ASU's Center for Study of Race and Democracy, and his collaboration with Assistant Chief Kurtenbach and Chief Yonner, that there will be sensitivity training for our police forces. But let's be clear, these are just baby steps to justice, and without more action by our legislators, council members, police, and the community, there will be no peace. The solutions are right in front of us, and the first call to action is that we have a parallel, independent, or special prosecuting prosecutor for Rumain's case and all future cases of police brutality. We must end the racial profiling in the detention and deportation system. We need to end the war on drugs. We need to demilitarize the police. We need to decriminalize homelessness and provide support for the mentally ill because they are also a target. We need to end the school-to-prison pipeline. We need to end the private prison system. We need to end policing for profit, like civil forfeiture and all quotas for police. We need sentencing reform. We need to fund our education, not incarceration. We need this to happen now before another innocent, unarmed person like Rumain Brisbon, who is bringing dinner to his family. Michelle Cousseau, who held a hammer above her head as the police broke into her apartment and was gunned down. Or Jose Gorena, a Marine veteran killed by police in Tucson during a drug raid at the wrong house. We can no longer sit around as our families are torn apart by police brutality and mass incarceration. Rumain was a father, a son, a lover, and a friend, and will be forever remembered as someone whose life was taken too early by the Phoenix police. Rumain will remain. We will not stop until we have justice for Rumain. No justice, no peace.
There's a memorial that's right down there that never gets touched, but Rumain's memorial keeps being vandalized by someone who lives around here. And I just feel like it's very disrespectful. If you don't agree with it or you're not okay with it, don't mess with his memorial. Also, everybody, you see police interaction, pull your phones out, record it, because it's gonna help another family to be able to film the police. They need to be filmed, because if they're not filmed and they do these things, they are let off. They are not held responsible, and they're able just to lie and say anything, and we take the police's word for it.
Blinded eyes on the victimized, we can't afford it. We can't afford it. No, we can't afford it. To keep standing idle by while they take our lives, we can't afford it. There's a war going on outside that we can't escape from. It's killing season. Genocide's the reason for assassinating innocents with handguns. Be not fooled, our freedoms are expensive. Generations from slavery since removed. Military tactics exercised on citizens while this inhumanity's blacked out from the news. Sick of inequality and treatment undeserved. Killing us must be met with a fight. I am Mike Brown. I am Trayvon Martin and Rumain Brisbon, but I won't be dying, begging for my life. I say strike back. Thank you.
The police, they don't think that. They think that we are supposed to be scared. But mostly, they're the ones that have the bullets in their guns. He shot that man, apparently for no reason. What if that cop had a family? He just goes home after he kills that man, saying, nothing happened. I was just fighting for my life, apparently. Now he's at home with his own kids when that man's daughter is crying. When she saw him get shot in the back. No more bullets, no more killing.